sentence for that. Strategic direction, don't waste too much time on that because you can get straight into this. You don't usually do, I mean, if you look at visions and missions, they're not usually in bullet point format. They're usually a statement. So I would question your bullet point format there. Values, fine. CSR even is kind of fine, although it's usually a statement, as it says there. But I would probably say those should be statements. Just turn them into a sentence, basically, or a couple of sentences. Key objectives, well, you still got to do some of these. Again, make sure they are smart, okay, because those aren't smart. So you've got to make sure that they're very specific, right? 36, that's all you're aiming for. From that to that, over a 3-year period, I make the assumption you didn't start there anyway. You started a lot lower, so make sure you do that right. You guys started on like 10 or something. So even if you're trying to get it so that you're hitting somewhere near it, then say 10 through to 36, and then it'll be a slight negative variance, right?
So we do have a question about this part though. So like, it's her part that she doesn't really get it. What is the difference between the goals and the actual outcomes? Because this period.
What did you say you were going to achieve, and what did you achieve?
So that was the goal that we set before studying year 1.
Theoretically, you didn't actually, but you can make up some goals that you would have done in the real world that you would have set, right?
Yes.
So here are goals that you set. Here's what you actually achieved. So here's what you actually achieved. Okay. So in the sample that I gave, here's the goal that was set. Here's what was actually achieved. That's the variance. The justification for the variance. Okay. No justification needed if it's positive. Just say positive variance. And then in that same area, here's a goal for the end of year 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the starting point. This is the end results at the end of year 3 for you guys. Variance, variance, reason, and then goal. So 2 in each of the areas at least. Okay. In a real business environment, you'd have about 20 for each area. Okay. If these, I'm asking you guys for a sample of them. Okay, watch the big paragraphs of writing. All these things down.
Haven't finished yet, but I will reduce the word.
Yeah, just I mean, rather use as these guys have. You know, they've used that. They should have probably maybe put a circle around differentiation to say that's what they were going for. But even that's maybe a bit long. It's just a really good way of putting down word count as much as you can. Then you need your stakeholder value creation stuff. That's what they want. So I would say value creation or stakeholder value creation there, because that's actually what value you're going to provide them. Watch your formatting again a little bit, it's going all over the place there. Business strategy is just a quick summary of what your business strategy would be. Again, in the sample, that's what they've done there, which I think is pretty good. Nice simple summary of what they intend to do. Doesn't need lots of word count. Marketing, again, short introduction, maybe less than that. Positioning strategy, introduce what you're going to give. So this is your year 1 to year 3. Well, it's not. So year 1 starting point would be down here, right? I'm making the assumption. And then that's where you've ended up at the end of year 3. So you don't have to say year 1, year 3. Just say year 3, end of year 3, finishing point. And then you can just talk about that. You don't need to. I'm not asking you for full analysis of that, right? So you've got quality versus price. And this is your projections for where things are going to go. Now you choose how close together or wide apart these are, right? Because there's no values on the axes, so you might as well spread them out more. Okay, there's no reason you can't spread them out more. Same on this one here, because they're all kind of grouped. Just spread them out, and then points underneath. Then you need to you can do marketing mix as well. So marketing mix, that's your main segment. That's your marketing mix to position yourself in your main segment. That's your secondary segment. So name the segment now. Okay, tell me what it is. Say for example, retirees, international visitors, whatever, right? So then that's your marketing mix for that. Give me a couple of bullet points underneath, just to say, you're right there. Just to tell me what I should be seeing. Okay, this is how you positioned yourself. Pricing tactics, that should be utilising pricing theory. So skimming, penetration, psychological, prestige, whatever it is, right? talk about pricing theory that was applied and outcomes. Then you get into.
Did you copy everything from your part?
Because there's 2 sections missing.
Yeah, 2 sections is missing.
I think you downloaded the wrong file. Sorry.
Well, I'll just tell you what you need to do. So, appropriate staffing, where are we? Sorry, appropriate advertising expenditure. Well, I've given you an example of exactly what that is.
Yeah.
That's how you do that, right? Then promotional campaigns. This is just your discounting. What discounting have you done? Why was it applied? What outcomes did it achieve? Okay. Then you get into the ops area. So introduce the ops area. Then you're discussing general performance. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's ADR. Well, it's, I mean, really, if I'm looking at ops, I want to see. Yeah, I want to see how the ADRs just for the hotels trended. I also want to see how the RevPARs trended. I want to see the occupancy, staff satisfaction, guest satisfaction. Okay, GOP net profit maybe as well. So you can put all of that into one kind of maybe 2 graphs or charts. Just and here you don't need to talk about year 3 or 4, but you might include year 0 in there, just for this section. So you're talking about.
Wrong.
Yeah,
I think that this is wrong.
So
It's not operation management.
Well, it should be. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
still
well,
my part,
No, that's Miss part.
but the down one is my part. See, this is the advertising and the title.
Okay.
You type this one.
Try with this, by the way, to put a line on the other side and put the marketing expenditure and relevance to that, and do that line on the other side out of maybe 7 or 8, because then it's going to spread that line out a lot more so that I can see it a lot more. So as you can see on this one, I've got that on that side and I've got this on this side. Now, yes, I drew this, but you can do that in Excel. Okay, just spreads it out a little bit. I mean, I can see it there anyway. So it's down, so it's there, it's gone up, then it goes down, and it goes up a little bit. Oh, I wouldn't go up. Why would you go up in cost? What you're telling me is you're going to spend more and more of my money in 4 and 5, right? So I see you're saying you're going to get me a big jump, but I'd say, well, get me a jump and don't spend more of my money. Spend the same amount of my money, 2.7%, and get me a jump and I'll be happy. Spend less money and get me a jump, I'll be ecstatic. But spend more of my money and get me a jump, okay, but it's a lot. 5.7% of revenue is a massive amount to spend on marketing, right? Okay. That's your discounting, I see it. Okay, so then where's the ops section?
That's my part.
Is it
Yeah,
in there?
I did it.
He left it in his PC at home and then he didn't.
No,
I
send
didn't
it.
bring it.
There's something of operation.
Okay, so operations. Well, I'll just give you some general advice then, because I can't give you advice on stuff I can't see. So first of all, overall operational stuff, like I mentioned, RevPAR, ADR, guest satisfaction, staff satisfaction, net profit, GOP. How have you performed in those areas? So have that. Then you do your staffing. Just give them in a couple of graphs and then have some points on performance underneath. Staffing, you do the same as this. Staff cost as a percentage of revenue, staff satisfaction. Training cost as a percentage of revenue, guest satisfaction. Okay, as I mentioned in the videos. Just do that. Come back to that in a second. Okay, so then we got promotional campaigns. Well, that should be in the previous section, right? So sorry. So then refurbishment, this is the addition. So you're taking something like the conference,
Yeah.
you're looking at how much revenue you made from conference. So this you would get if you go to your departmental operating statements. Sum it for the full period, 1 year, year 1 to year 3.
Yeah.
And that plus that plus that plus that. That'll give you your conference revenue overall, right? Times that by your average net profit for the whole operation for the period, which you can get just by going to your summary operating statement, and you get your net profit percentage down there. Okay, so conference revenue times by average net profit gives you your approximate net profit for the period, minus off the cost, and see what you've got. Okay, you might want to even do the same for the shop. That will give you that. Then you do your maintenance. It's just your philosophy on refurbishment. Financial, introduce it. Cost control. I don't need this. I could read it anyway, even if I did need it. So that's way too small. So flip the page, right?
Oh yes, landscape. Make it.
Yeah, make it landscape, right?
Yeah.
So just add a break.
Yeah.
Orientate it.
Yeah.
Add second break. Orientate it back, right? But even then, I don't need this. Just give me a summary of your overall costs.
Yeah.
On a bar graph, what were your overall costs over the period? Okay.
Yeah.
Take the highest you've got, and say that the intent was to keep it below that point. And then give me a couple of ways in which you did that. For example, identifying variance and correcting for it.
So in that chart, do you need like any specific like departmental or like every? So just like the total cost.
Total cost, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I wouldn't really care about that stuff. You know, I don't need the detail. I don't want to get lost in the detail. I just want to see the big picture, right? Then you have your introduction to your income statement. Then you have it. So I can't read that. Okay.
Yeah.
So put it in there so I can read it. The other thing I would argue is that you should show me very clearly what the variances are.
Yeah.
Negative variances, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, negative variances. So I'm just gonna make it red.
Yeah, make it bright red. Make it really clear so I can read it. The example I've given is this one here.
Yeah, the one with the arrows. Yeah.
Yeah. So make it as clear as that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a balance sheet, but you do the same sort of thing for this. No, this is a total assets. This is a balance sheet, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's not an
copied the
income
wrong one,
statement.
yeah.
So yeah. So then you discuss performance using charts and graphs. Don't just give me these. Give me charts and graphs and analyse them.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the P&L, you talk about GOP percentages, net profit percentages, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. For the balance sheet, you talk about ROA, ROI, ROE,
Yeah.
and
I
ROCE,
made-
right?
Yeah, I made it like the separate one.
Yeah, just put it in tables and graphs underneath,
Yeah.
which is good, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Make sure you tell me what's projections, because I don't know at a glance that the 4 and 5 are projections. So put in a text box, just put the word projections. Make the lines dashed if you can, maybe put a line in there to say that these are projections.
Yeah.
And maybe a word above there, okay? Or just put it in brackets afterwards. Cash flow, introduce it, apply it, and then give me your analysis underneath, including your quick and current ratios as I specifically requested.
Yeah.
Okay.
I already said it.
And then you have your conclusion. Your conclusion, I'm not sure what this is.
Oh, so there's probably references.
Yeah, it's all over the place, right? That's the kind of reference I'm looking for. Okay. So I'm looking for about 12 of those, right?
Yeah.
Minimum. So you probably got them. It looks like you're pretty good. Just make sure you got that minimum level of research in there, okay?
Yes.
All good?
So for my number part, all I need to do is make more charts and graphs and focus on like the specific numbers that you want to know.
Cost analysis, you don't need highly detailed statements. They can be quite summarised.
Yeah.
Underneath each, you've got analysis of them using charts, graphs, especially on ratio analysis, right?
Yeah.
All good?